In this video, I'm gonna break down our entire smoke odor removal service that we do in vehicles. I'll talk to you about how we talk to the customers, how we set expectations, the option that we give them, the price point, the entire process that we do in the interior. You can check any the guides or any links to the tools and products that we use in the description box down below. Let's get started with this video and get ready to take some notes. Before you actually get to work on the vehicle and do everything you need to do, an important part to the smoke odor removal process is explaining it to the customer and setting the proper expectations. Remember, as you're running your detailing business, it's a very one-to-one human relationship kind of business, right? Yes, we're gonna be working on cars and detailing and, you know, extracting interiors or polishing paint, but at the end of the day, it's like we are coming into agreement with another person to say, hey, we're gonna deliver these results at this price point and this timetable. So it's very important you set the proper expectations with the customer based on what you're gonna do and the level of results that you can produce. So when someone reaches out to us and says, hey, I have a smoke odor issue, let's say it's coming through a web form, right? They fill out a form on our website and it says smoke odor removal. They're requesting that service. The first question that we ask is, how long has the odor been there? How harsh is that odor? And can you send me any photos of the interior so I can see the condition? Because I want to get more context of what's going on with the interior. That way I can provide them the best information that I can. If it was slightly smoked in for a week, it's gonna be different than if it was heavily smoked in for the last 3 years. So I kinda wanna get a better sense of the situation so I can provide the best information and then from that provide the best quote. Now, I don't always expect to get photos just because not everyone is gonna send you photos. So we always give some type of price range. But over time, as you get better, as you see more interiors, as you go through the round, as you're asking better questions, you can give a general price point without seeing the condition. So given that, like, unless it's an extreme vehicle, we'll typically price the interior based on the size and such around $450 to $650. If we get photos, if we confirm that is in a severe condition, it might be $800, $1,200, $1,400. But just as a general blank statement, $450 to this $650 on your typical, not bad, just at least for the vehicles that we see, $450 to $650 on average smoke odor interiors. So when they reply, a typical response is, hey, I just purchased this from the dealership. It is clean, the interior looks clean, but there's still a light odor of smoke in there. So if they tell us that, then we break it down very thoroughly, because with smoke odor, it's a very subjective thing, right? Because you're just smelling something, right? One person might smell it a lot worse than the other. So we wanna really thoroughly explain what we can do and what kind of results we're gonna get. So we'll give them two main options. Option one is, look, it is clean and maybe we can just do an ozone treatment and that's enough to knock off the smell that you'll be satisfied with. The problem with that is that we don't know how well they clean the interior. So it's more of a gamble to see if the ozone treatment in itself will be enough to bring the smoke odor smell to a satisfactory level to you. Option two is we'll do our full smoke odor removal process. We're still gonna thoroughly clean all the plastics, vinyl, and rubber, and we're gonna shampoo all the fabric and fabric surfaces like the carpeting, the floor mats, the seats, the headliner, to extract any of that nicotine or tobacco that's still left over. On top of that, we'll do the ozone treatment, and that the second option, the thorough option, takes 1.5 to 2 days. Just the ozone, which is option A or option one, it's gonna take 3 hours. Option one is 125 for 3 hours. And then option two, the full process, is $450 to $650 for 1.5 to 2 full days. This is why we keep the smoke odor jobs at our shop, because it doesn't take 2 full days to do the work, but between cleaning the interior, airing everything out, running the ozone treatment, it's much easier and much more efficient for us to work at our shop versus trying to do that at a mobile job site. Now this is just over email. We'll still say, hey, if you want to bring it in so I can inspect the vehicle in person, meaning actually just kind of get a smell and see how bad it really is, and give you a more thorough breakdown, and then they'll pass by the shop. Once they come to the shop, they already have a general price point of the price, so they're not gonna get like a sticker shock once they get here. So we're gonna inspect the interior in person, give them a more accurate timeline and see what we can do. So I might say, hey, look, at this point, like it's too far gone, or it's pretty severe, so I'm not sure we can remove 100% of it. We can definitely do a dramatic improvement on the odor, but to say 100% is very unlikely, just because it was smoked in for the last 4 years. The headliner is all dark and filled with tobacco, so maybe if you really wanted to increase the chances of you removing the smoke odor entirely, you'd probably want to replace the headliner. But short of that, we're gonna shampoo and thoroughly clean the headliner, so that'll definitely help it. So we might take it from like a level 8 right now to like a level 3. So we're just kind of explaining, and I can't give you an exact template or what to say, just because it's really dependent on every single interior that we work on, depending on the condition, the severity, because there's time when a customer is complaining about the smell, and we get in there and it's like, I don't smell anything. Like, I really don't smell anything in this interior. If the customer is complaining about a smoke odor, it's like, well, no, there's no smoke odor, just take it back. Well, they want it done though, right? They want that job done, so we have to do our best to our ability, even when it's an odor that we can't really smell ourselves, but it's bothering the customer, that we have to take every step necessary to get the best results that we can. And that comes with explaining to the customer, okay, look, here's what we're gonna do, here's what we're gonna expect, and here's the entire process. Now, if they choose option 1, there's no guarantee to anything. We're gonna throw the ozone in there and we'll give it back to you. If it comes back, that's why we thoroughly explain, like, hey, option 1, maybe it's not enough to remove the odor, right? We don't know if they really remove the nicotine and tobacco from the interior. So, it is what it is. You're paying for that just because you want the more affordable option, but there's no guarantee behind that. Now, if you choose option 2, which is our whole process, and because we're gonna go from step A to step Z, and we're in charge of the entire process, and we're actually able to do the thorough interior cleaning that we want, then if the odor comes back, you bring it back to us at no extra charge, and we'll run another ozone treatment. But that's only if they choose option 2, because they're paying for the full process. And I would say we have a pretty high success rate. Let's say out of the last 20 or let's say out of the last 10, maybe 1 has gotten back to us. And again, it's not like it's not that we're not hoping for them to come back. It's just like, depending on the severity, depending on just a few factors, like, it might come back, but we won't know until maybe 1 or 2 days or 3 days. So if it does come back, let us know, and we'll happily bring it back, run another ozone treatment on there, and hope that reduces the odor for you. But we're very upfront, say, hey, before they sign up, before anything, like, if you choose option 2, that's the one where we guarantee the results. Whereas, like, if the odor comes back again, you'll bring it back, no extra charge, and we'll run the ozone treatment again and see if that helps any better. If you want to do it again, we can do that again. But again, because we're doing the full process, that doesn't happen often. Again, out of the last 10 times, maybe once has came back, and it wasn't for anything severe. They're just like, hey, like, I kind of smell it again. Can you run it again? And we're like, yeah, of course, just bring it back. We'll happily do that for you. Just because that's the type of work that we're running here. But it's like, it rarely happens where it's like, whoa, like, hey, I still smell it 100%. It's like, that normally doesn't happen. As far as the process, it's actually pretty straightforward. It's not like you need some complicated machines or some, fancy things that only a small group of people have access to. For the smoke odor removal process, we're gonna vacuum all the surfaces, meaning all the plastic, where it's capable and you're not scratching anything, obviously. So the carpeting, the floor mats, the rubber mats, the leather, the creases, the seat belts, the headliner, everything that can be vacuumed will be vacuumed up, because the goal of everything is to remove as much of that nicotine and tobacco from the surfaces, from the fibers, so that obviously you can reduce the odor over time, especially after the ozone treatment. Now, a heavier emphasis is put on the cloth and fabric surfaces, just because that's a lot more porous, because it actually goes into the fabric, goes into the fibers, whereas with leather, with plastic, you kind of just clean it and it stays on the top level, and it's pretty straightforward there. So we definitely put an emphasis on the vacuuming, but we will vacuum literally everything. Like I said, the headliner, the visors, everything that's cloth or fabric will be vacuumed up. Now we're gonna agitate and shampoo all the cloth surfaces. So on this one, we're gonna pre-spray with tobacco tack, agitate, and then shampoo. Nothing different there. Now, depending on the headliner, if it's that dirty and it needs to be shampooed with an extractor, we will. The tool that we have, the Sapphire upholstery tool, and our extractor allows us to adjust the PSI, so that way if we need to reduce the water or the pressure that's coming out of the head in order to reduce the amount of water that's being introduced into the fabric, we're able to do that. So that's a big plus side. If you're using like the OEM style wand that comes with the extractor and it's just ejecting a lot of water into the fabric, I probably would not recommend that, just for obvious reasons. So for us, because we're able to adjust the PSI, if the headliner can accept it, so to speak, then we'll do that. If not, if it's not that bad, or if it can't take that much water or heat, we'll go with a steamer and we'll just heat up a towel and work the whole headliner. Okay, it just depends on the condition. It's gonna vary vehicle to vehicle. So we're gonna do everything. We're gonna shampoo every little surface area of carpet that we can get to. So underneath the seats, in the very tight areas, all the fabric, all the floor mats, even if they're not dirty, even if it doesn't look dirty, we're trying to pull out as much of that nicotine and tobacco out of the surfaces. So we're gonna shampoo everything. Like even if nothing is coming out and like it looks all clear in the head of the sapphire tool, we're gonna keep on extracting everything. If the leather and plastics look clean, we're still gonna clean everything, because obviously there's tobacco and nicotine somewhere, and we have to go and find and hunt and kill all that nicotine and tobacco so that we're able to properly remove that smoke odor smell. And this also includes the seatbelt. So we're gonna draw the seatbelt all the way out. We're gonna put a clamp on it, that way it doesn't roll back in. And we're gonna, same thing, tobacco tack and a brush, and clean the entire seatbelt on all of them, and we're gonna keep them out the entire time. So once we're done with the cloth, we're gonna go to the plastic and leather surfaces. So this is pretty straightforward. We're gonna use unsmoke for this. And we're gonna, again, even if the panels don't look dirty, we're still gonna clean them, because we have to kill that nicotine tobacco that's somewhere in the interior. So all the plastics, all the rubber, all the anything gets cleaned out. We're gonna push all the seats forward, push them back. We're gonna open every compartment. We're gonna just get into every little nook and cranny that we can, even if it doesn't look dirty or doesn't need to be clean, because the goal here is to remove a smoke odor, not to make it look clean. Which is something that I clarify in the emails or in our communication when we first get started. I was like, hey, look, cleaning an interior is much different than removing an odor. Right? So even if it does look clean, our goal is not to make it look cleaner. Our goal is to remove the odor, and by doing that, we still have to go through the whole process on all the surfaces. So the leather, plastic, all gets thoroughly scrubbed, and I mean everything. So like any little piece of plastic, any little piece of leather that's around the interior, not just the seats, not just the door panels, but any seal, anything gets cleaned. Once all the cleaning is complete in the interior, which usually takes between 4 to 6 hours, again, it just depends on the severity of it, then we'll throw in the air movers and just let it dry. Because we have to dry everything before we put the ozone treatment, we do take longer to dry the interior, right? Like if we just need to get dry enough so that a customer can drive away and be fine, you know, that might be, let's say, an hour and a half, right? Just throwing a number out. But to ensure that everything is dry in the interior before we turn the ozone treatment, it might be 4 hours, right? Just because we want to ensure everything is dry. Not just the main part of the cloth, but all the carpeting underneath the seat. The seat belts are completely dry. Like everything has to be 100% dry. So we'll wait longer than usual to make sure everything is dry. All the air movers are going. This is why I say it takes a day and a half to 2 days, because the cleaning part, you know, 4 to 6, not even then, maybe 3 to 4 to 5 hours depending on the condition. But because we're gonna double wait to make sure everything is dry, because we're gonna run the ozone treatment, because we're gonna air it out, because all that takes time, which is why it takes a day and a half or 2 days, because it just takes time to complete. And totally forgot to mention, which is why I'm adding this after I did the editing already, is that when it comes to smoke odor removal, another big thing they have to do is replace the cabin air filter. Because if we're doing the whole smoke odor process and we do everything, but then they don't change the cabin air filter, and there might be some smoke odor trapped in there, as soon as they turn the AC, some that gets pushed back into the interior, they might think there's a smoke smell now, which, I mean, there is, but it's from the cabin air filter. So anytime we do a smoke odor service, we either, if it's very easy to change, we'll change the cabin air filter. If it requires some things to be removed, which it doesn't often, but sometimes we have run into the issue, we have a mechanic next door, we'll just pay them whatever, 20, 25 bucks to do it, and we'll just tack that onto the customer's bill. But the cabin air filter must be replaced. Now for the ozone treatment, we need to put the floor mats back in the interior, and rubber floor mats back in the interior, so that the ozone treatment can work on all the surfaces, right? Maybe the floor mat has most of the smoke odor, and if we keep it out, you know, outside while the ozone treatment is running, well, maybe we're not treating the smoke that's on the floor mats. So we're gonna run the ozone treatment for, depending on the condition, the size, 4, 6, 8 hours. We have a timer on our, well, just a little timer that you hook up, and it'll auto turn off the, well, it's a timer, so it's gonna turn off on the timer that you set it to. And next thing that we come in the morning, we move the cars out, and then we'll set the car outside, roll down the windows, open up the doors, and just let it air out for, you know, maybe 2, 3, 4 hours. and then we'll go back in there and inspect it, you know, and then we'll literally just sniff around and say, hey, like, does it smell better? Do you still smell it? You know, there's been some interiors that we worked on where it was just like, it was bad. Like, it was just a heavy smoke odor. It was just like, it was filthy everywhere. And, you know, next thing in the morning, you can still slightly smell it, but it's like, it's still significantly better than what it came in. So it's just gonna change. You know, again, that's why it's very important to focus on, like, okay, what did you know, communicate with the customer? What are the levels of expectation? Like, what was the goal that you guys agreed upon, right? Because maybe there's a light layer of odor left, but it's like, hey, if that's what you guys agreed upon, if that was the expectation set based on the condition, that's fine, totally green light, you know? So it really just depends. What we'd like to do is, if we're kind of iffy about it, or we can't really tell, so to speak, we'll reach out to the customer and say, hey, customer, you know, the vehicle is done. If you'd like, you can come pick it up, or you can come here and inspect it yourself. If you'd want to let us run another ozone treatment, we'll be more than happy to. We'll just need to keep it for another 3-4 hours. But if you're happy with it, you can just take it right now and we'll be good to go, and just let us know if the order comes back, and we'll, you know, like I explained earlier. So we'll kind of get, we don't do this much, but when we're kind of iffy ourselves, maybe we didn't really like we didn't really find the odor ourselves, or just whatever, you know, whatever the case may be, we will give that power to the customer. Say, hey, you know, you can let us know. Would you want to take it as is, or do you want us to run another ozone treatment, right? We will do it right now, but you know, you gotta wait another 4 hours, or just take it now, and if it comes back, let us know, and we'll run it again. But that's the entire smoke odor removal process from start to finish. That's basically what we do. Now, the great thing about this is that we're probably one of the few detailers in our area in Houston that actually offer this as a service. One of the cool little things that we got is we had an insurance agent reach out to us for a smoke odor issue. And since that first encounter, he has brought us, I think now, 3 or 4 different smoke odor removal services, in total probably ranging around $3,000. And what's even better is that, one, we're probably one of the few detailers that offer this level of smoke odor service in our area. And on 2, we are actually ranking for this on the first page of Google for smoke odor removal Houston. And the great thing about that, just for those that are trying to get to marketing or whatever, is that if you go into the Google keyword planner to look at the monthly search volume, the keyword smoke odor removal Houston, or any variation of that, doesn't get that many searches. If anything, it doesn't show any data at all. Like, so if you're looking at this keyword, say, hey, is there potential in this keyword? And it says, you know, on the monthly searches, it says like 0 or 10 searches per month. Yet for us, it brings in a few $1,000s per month in revenue. And the reason I say that is that here's a keyword that doesn't show much potential with search traffic, yet we're ranking on the first page of Google. And yes, we're not banking on this keyword or on the service to just, you know, blow us up. But for a search term that had basically 0 search traffic for it, has brought us a steady stream of revenue over the last 8 months. We offer a thorough service. Not many detailers offer this service, and it's overall not a complicated service. Yes, it's very detailed and like there's a process, but just like anything else that we do with paint corrections, ceramic coatings, whatever, there's a process to it, just following it and making sure you're doing it properly. But I'm very confident in our smoke odor removal services. Like I know when people reach out to us, they don't have that many options out there of someone that works on vehicles that does a good job like we do. So, you know, it's just one of those things where if that's an interest of you, hopefully this video helped out in some way and, you know, in some fashion. If you have any questions about it, let me know in the comment section down below, and I'll talk to everyone on the next one. Again, you can check the description box down below for some of the links that I mentioned, like the Unsmoke, Tobacco Attack. If I can, I'll link the ozone generator if I find it. And if you want like any guide, like the ultimate guide to start your detailing business, or you want to check out my second YouTube channel, the Proper Care channel, all that will be linked down in the video description box below. Thank you very much, and I'll talk to everyone on the next one. Bye-bye.